Today on Kim's Hair we're going to be cutting a circular layer. We're going to start by placing a profile section from front to nape, being sure to create nice clean sections. Working nice horizontal sections across the back. First section starting just underneath the occipital bone. Being sure to cut our length guide nice and square to maintain the length on the corners. Repeat sections up through the back of the head. Again, nice horizontal sections. Looking for our guide line underneath. Continue with point cutting technique. Be sure to leave the fingers up the hair shaft so you have room to use the points of your blades. Allowing for the movement and bounce, we're working with very strong natural curl. Taking sections about 2 centimetres so you can be sure to see your guide line underneath. Directing the hair back to me to be sure to keep those strength on the corners. Checking each section as we go. Continuing up the nape, working 2 centimetre sections. Nice clean horizontal sections. Keeping the hair nice and square across the bottom. Using the points of the blades to point cut up to our guide line. Being sure to create texture, don't neaten those ends too much. Helping to maintain the strength in the corners. Once at the top of the ears, we'll continue to include the sides. Once again, directing down at natural fall to remove any excess length. Once we work to the sides, we need to direct those sides back to maintain the length. Remembering if the hair doesn't reach, it doesn't get cut. Check those sides. Continue with the same technique. Allow the remainder of the hair to fall. Double check. Not placing too much tension on the hair as we're working with very curly hair to allow it to bounce freely. That's our length guide complete. Placing a profile section, once again from the front through to the back, and then a cross section from ear to ear, sectioning the hair in quarters. Curving off each quarter to create a circle. Being sure not to create any corners. Direct the hair 90 degrees from the scalp. Be sure to bunch the hair, keeping that circular section. Slicing through to remove that excess length. Expand that circle slightly. Once again, direct that section 90 degrees from the scalp. Looking for our guideline, bunching the hair and remove that length. Now with the texture of Kim's hair, to create our true layer effect, we're going to switch to our razor. Now working through our back layering technique, we're going to take pie-shaped sections from the crown. Looking for our guide, working with the point of the razor rather than the flat of the razor, so as not to disturb the ends of the hair too much. Coming in and removing that length. Working all the way down through that section, being aware of the angle of the fingers to increase out to meet our length guide at the bottom. Continue around the head. Once again, sectioning from the crown, pie-shaped sections, taking a bit of the old section as a reference guide. Looking for our guideline, increasing with our fingers and removing that length. Continue down the section. Once again, remember to use the point of the blade, not the flat of the blade. Checking for our guide, increasing in length remove that weight. Nice clean sections. Pivoting around with our pie sections. Checking for our guide. Fantastic technique to break up curly hair. Working all the way to the front. Using the same technique. Being sure to increase in length. Directing hair out 90 degrees from the scalp. Once over the ear, we'll slightly direct that section back to maintain some length and weight around the face. Be sure to continue with pie sections. As we work towards the front. Directing back, slight more increase to maintain some length around the face. Just with the point of the razor, removing that length. Once again, being sure to use pie sections. Directing back slightly, point of the blade. All the way to the centre at the front. Increasing to maintain some length through the front area. With that side complete, we'll repeat the process on the other side. It's layering complete, ready for some personalising. Returning to the straight blades, sectioning once again, horizontal sections, just below the crown. Using back slicing technique, working in the second third of the mesh of hair, slicing pieces away to really break the surface texture of that curl. Using an arcing motion, points of the scissors working towards my body. Once again, looking for that weight, Just removing, shattering that section. Allowing some irregularity in the surface texture. Continue to work through to the sides. Remember to start your slicing technique in the second third of the mesh of hair, so as not to put too much volume at the roots. Just opening up that curl nicely. Making sure hair is damp but not too damp for this technique. And not too heavy in around the face. Once again, horizontal section working up the head. Checking our perimeter length, balance. Once again, be sure not to tidy up the texture that we originally created. Kim's hair is now ready to colour.